Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Today I wanted to talk about Arknights Endfield. And since 1.1 didn't change much, and this is the first time I'm talking about the game, I'll share my overall experience and what I think about the game. So, let's get started. The first thing that caught my attention was that the game looks very good. The character designs and the facial expressions, they are very well done. And you can see their attention to details, like the enemy's mask. When it's raining you can see the drops of water. And as a perfectionist like I am, it is very pleasant to see. And then there is Wooling City, which is the most gorgeous city I've ever seen in a video game. When I first got to that city, I was like, bro, I wish I could live in a city like this. Like the statues, the shops, the bridges, the buildings, everything looks so good. But the game is not perfect. Most NPCs look quite generic. Some of them have like basically the same face, but with just a different hair color, maybe wearing glasses or a different animal ear or horns. And it feels weird to see the difference between the NPCs and the playable characters. It feels like they don't belong in the same game, you know? And now with 1.1, it feels like the quality of the character's design is dropping, because Tang Tang to me doesn't look like a 6-star, you know? I mean, if you compare her with Lava Tang, for example, she kinda looks like a 5-star. Her design is too simple, and it feels like closer to Aviwena's design, for example, which is a 5-star. And her weapon is kinda ugly as well. I didn't like it very much. And then we have Mifu, which to me she looks like a 5-star as well. But lore wise, she should be stronger than Tang Tang, right? So it wouldn't make sense for her to be a 5-star. She will probably be a 6-star as well. But then we will have two 6-star characters that don't really look like 6-star. The story was okay, nothing too crazy, but I like the characters. Perlica is more serious, Chain is more playful and goofy. They make a good core party to accompany the enemy through the story. The story in 1.1 felt a little bit underwhelming. It felt like they tried to make an impactful story with Ruang Yi, but since we don't interact with him very much in the story, it didn't really felt impactful to me. About the exploration, I enjoyed it, but I think it's not as good as other open world games like WoA or Genshin. The limited inventory space was annoying, because it makes you try to avoid exploring with unnecessary items, but in your first playthrough you probably don't know which items you will need, so you end up having to teleport back to get the items, and sometimes teleport to the factory to produce the items, and then walk all the way back to the place where you need them to solve the puzzle. I also hit some invisible walls while trying to jump from one spot to another, and end up falling into the water and dying miserably. The factory was enjoyable in the beginning, but over time I started feeling annoyed to do it, especially after 1.1, where they released a new ore that we have to mine to make the new gear pieces, and you also have to play a good portion of the story to unlock it. So after pulling Tang Tang, I still had to finish the story and also build the factory to produce the items to craft the gear for her, which I was not feeling like doing it, but I had to force myself to do it so I could build and use it. Also, the factory in the Valley 4. At first it was fine having to walk to connect the energy towers, but after I got to Wulin and I saw that the towers just connect to each other just by being within range, I started questioning like, why didn't they do that in Valley 4 as well? Was it because in Wulin they have a better technology? But that would be like telling your teacher that you didn't do your homework because your dog ate it. Like coming up with a lore reason to not give the players a quality of life change. That sounds kinda stupid. Almost disrespectful even. And then there's the daily loop, which feels like a job simulator. Like you deliver packages, buy and sell goods, produce and sell goods, and manage the operators in the DGEM, which feels like a waste of time because there are not many good things to buy with the stock bills, and the DGEM production is very slow. So the dailies don't take long, but they are annoying and mostly pointless. Even the rewards for spending sanity are kinda low, which is, by the way, the only time in the daily loop that you engage with the combat. And to make things worse, they make you choose between materials for under level 60 or materials for over level 60, instead of giving you a little bit of both and allowing you to convert the lower tier items into the higher tier ones, which is how 99% of the games do it. And for some reason they also give you limited double reward claims, which makes the game a little bit too repetitive sometimes. Oh, they also like giving a lot of expiring sanity potions. About the gacha system, I don't know what most people think about it, but for me, I don't really care how exciting or innovating the gacha system is. I just wanna get the character and play the game, you know? So for me, the less I have to deal with the gacha system, the better. And Enfield's gacha feels like it has so many ways for things to go wrong. Like you can get the character too early and not have enough arsenal tickets to get their weapon. Or you can lose multiple 50-50s before the guarantee. Or even winning the 50-50 a few pulls before the guarantee, which makes you feel like you just lost a free 6-star. So the gacha is kinda like driving on a road full of potholes. No matter how hard you try, you will end up hitting them quite often. So the gacha feels more complex than it needed to be. And not to mention that it is very slow to get pulls and the guarantee doesn't carry over. Also, the free 10 pulls they give after 30 pulls and after 60 for the next banner, they feel like bait to make you spend pulls to get more arsenal tickets, since spending pulls is the best way to get them. And the 6-star selector after 300 pulls, it is basically useless, because by the time you get to the 300 pulls, you probably already have most of the 6-star characters, if not all of them. And you probably already have a few limited 6-star as well. And since they give very few standard pulls, it kinda feels like they expect us to spend limited resources to get to the 300 pulls. About the gearing system, I like the idea of fixed stats, because casual players usually don't optimize their gear as much as tryhard players, and they also don't optimize as much their rotations, which ends up making a big difference in performance between the two types of players. But if you take the random stats out of the equation, the difference in performance would be smaller, so it would be theoretically easier to balance the game. The only thing I didn't like was that the gear is locked behind the factory, which can be annoying if you are not in the mood to do it, but you have to force yourself to do it so you can build your characters. The combat system, it felt refreshing in the beginning, but to me it was a little annoying having to keep track of the elemental stacks on the enemies. And sometimes the rotations feel clunky, especially against enemies that move and attack a lot, because you have to keep dodging constantly. But it might be a skill issue from my end as well. But whatever it is, these fights felt more annoying than challenging. And we also don't have many options, since there's not many combat content and most events are casual. So to wrap things up, I feel like the game has potential to be good, but it has too many small annoying things, like the dailies that are boring and annoying to do, and there are not many combat content, the pool economy is too slow, and the gacha system has a lot of ways that it can go wrong. And it's not very realistic to think that they will change the gacha system at this point. But if they can fix the rest, I think the game can be good. But at the same time, I feel like Hypergriff doesn't deserve much trust, since they lack transparency with the PayPal incident, for example, which after 2 months it is still not fixed yet. And also that event where they gave us rich rewards. I also saw many advertisements for the game, which makes it seem like they are prioritizing advertising over fixing the game, which is not a very smart strategy, because they are basically showing to everyone how bad their game is, and after everyone quits the game, then they will fix it. So I'll probably keep playing the game until 1.2 and see if they fix the game. But I believe the game already became a niche game where mostly OG Arknights players play the game. So even if they fix the game on the next patch, I feel like they will have a hard time trying to make the game popular. Especially if Neverness to Everness is really as good as it looks. And that's it for today's video. If I said something wrong or I missed something that you think it's important, feel free to leave a comment down below. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed the video. See ya!